Welcome back, everybody, to Catapult Your Business, where we take one question every week and help you grow and scale your company to the next level. Thanks so much for joining us, as always. What a question we have. Are core values just an absolute total waste of time? You know you've asked yourself this once or twice. Do I need core values? Do I not? Well, we're going to dig into that, and I've got a killer advisor from our team that has a thing or two to say about this. So let me welcome Jessica Osborne to the call. Jessica, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you. Jessica, do you mind just kicking us off? What's a little bit of your background so everybody listening in has an idea where you're coming from?
Sure. So I come from the world of fashion. I built a supply chain management company in the United States for fashion entrepreneurs and had a lot of fun growing that company, transitioned it into an online course model after having a bunch of employees. And I'm now really passionate about working with other companies to kind of see that ripple effect of growth across the community.
I love it. I love it. Well, I know you're kicking butt and taking names over here at Cultivate with some of your clients and moving the ceiling per se. So thank you for all the work you do for Cultivate, and excited to dig into this conversation. This whole question that you brought, right? Like, is it just a total waste of time? How the heck did you come up with that, right? Like, how did that term come to you?
Well, I feel like a lot of companies don't. I don't think that. I think a lot of companies don't have core values because the founders, the leaders, don't believe that they matter. And I've worked with large companies, small companies, and it doesn't really matter the size, but the values are integral if they are authentic and actionable. So.
Well, you're right. I mean, I've seen so many, especially smaller and mid-sized company, right? It's like, oh, we don't need that yet, right? We're not Nike, right? We don't need to go build out these it makes us corporate, right? But what's the why, right? Like if one of your clients were to come in and go, why the heck should I care about core values? What's the why for you? Like, what's your perspective of why this even matters?
I think to me, the most important reason why you should have core values is because it allows you to attract the right employees, customers, and vendors to your company.
So tell me more. So attracting more, the right
So
people.
imagine if you were, and I'll take it like, I don't know, outside of the business realm. Hopefully this is okay, Casey. So imagine you're on a first date and you say, and someone asks you like, how are you going to make that person fall in love with you? Well, that's not what you're doing. Like, hopefully you're not going on a date trying to force someone to fall in love with you. Hopefully you have discerned your own core values and then attracted the right person to this date. And now you can discern whether that person has core values that are aligned with yours. Everybody does this on a personal level all the time. But what is a company? It's a group of people. That's it. So you need to have core values in your company, or else you're not going to attract people.
Well said, and so totally oversimplified, but people need to hear that, right? I mean, you come to the Catapult podcast here to get some business advice. You can also come to get some dating advice.
Exactly.
But I think what you're saying is real, right? Like, I always hear the phrase personally in my own life, right? It's like, well, we kind of grew apart, or like we outgrew each other, or like it just, our relationship didn't go as far, even on the friend side, right? And I think to me, I've always said like, that's really like values just got misaligned. Like, doesn't mean they're a bad person. They just value different things. And they choose to be affiliated with those values and how they're going to make decisions or how they're going to operate or in their life or life choices they're going to make. And therefore, sometimes people, fall apart.
Yeah, they grow apart. And when you're in a employee-employer relationship or in a company and client relationship, if you are aligned on your core values, it's a longer lasting relationship because you're choosing to work with that person because you care about what they care about versus a transactional relationship. Like, oh, well, they sign my paycheck, so that's why I work here,
Yeah, no, it's you want to get people who are purpose driven, who really tie into your vision and want to achieve it. You lock them in your values and you see them, thrive. You also mentioned just like the overall success of the company can sometimes happen, when it's tied back to the values. What else do you see of like what people use these values for? I think that would give some people some high level perspective before we dig into like how do you get to these values?
Sure. What are they used for? So there's a lot of things. So I'm trying to organize my thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So I think as a company scales, there's so many decisions and so many opportunities that the leadership has to decide, like, should we go this way or that way? If you have strong core values, it's easier to decide what to do because everyone can say, we have these 4 decisions. Which of these decisions aligns with the core values? 3 of them probably won't. And so then it's like, great, we're going to move forward with that because it aligns with our core values. And we are all in agreement that these core values matter.
I love it. So decision making is a big one.
Decision making, yeah, definitely a big one. And then holding them account, like holding, especially if you have a team of leaders, holding the team accountable to making decisions in the right, lane, basically. Right. Because if there's, otherwise it's a little bit chaotic. So yeah, I think hold people accountable. And then the second big reason is when you are when you're hiring and when you're trying to decide, like, why does the culture not feel right in this company? And that's where I come in with a lot of clients is like something's off. Like I don't even enjoy walking into my own office. Like, so and it's all this drama and it takes us so long to pull apart, like, where is this drama coming from? Why don't things feel right? And I've really seen a trend of like, there are not strong core values in these organizations. And once I can get a client on board with, yes, okay, I understand why it might make sense for us to do this. And then I take them actually through the EOS, like people analyzer. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah, you line up your core values and then on the x-axis and then on the y, you got the people's names. And it's like, and I've done this with multiple clients and it's truly, they are mind blown. They're like, wow, that's why this is the person that needs to go. It's really easy.
Right. That's pulling back the team or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Are you getting the advice you need for your business from this episode? Do you want to get more than just one question answered and have it customized to you and your business? Well, Cultivate Advisors works one-on-one with thousands of business owners every day. Let them help you scale your business today. Don't just listen to this episode. Take action and go to cultivateadvisors.com to see which advisor you get matched with and receive a free 2-hour business assessment on how you could scale your business to the next level. Act now at cultivateadvisors.com.
I've always thought too, like people come at values and when people use the word culture, they don't understand that values is what kickstarts the culture. It's what kind of lays out the map.
Like the ingredients,
Yeah. Oh, that's a much better analogy. Yeah. The ingredients that go into the cake batter, right? It's gotta be cake because you know my sugar addiction. But I come from this place of people going like, how do you get a great culture? I think people just think like people want to hang out together. People go have fun together. Like, no, that's not always true. Like some cultures don't want to have that. Some cultures are designed to go down a different path or other attributes. And I think people don't fully connect the dots. So just what you're saying really resonates from who you bring into to how they make decisions. Owners are trying to figure out how to hand things off or scale past themselves all the time. Well, if you don't give them, the ingredients per se to make their own cake, how can you expect them to make decisions in the moment if they can't align up against anything or have a place to stand on of why they made the decision? So this all makes a ton of sense. Do you ever see, I always hear this question a lot. Do you ever see people use values for their customers versus internally?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I've seen both.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Like, do you think that's valuable for small business?
Like I said in the beginning, I think one of the reasons why you want core values is not only to attract the right employees, but to attract the right customers. For me, customers is just as important as employees because how a lot of business owners will recognize like, you spend 80% of your time dealing with 20% of the most difficult customers, right? Those customers are probably not aligned with your core values. And so if you can figure out how to shout from the rooftops, portray and be a shining light in your community for who you are as a company, the right customers will come to you and you will more easily be able to discern the wrong customers.
I love it. All right, let's get into some more of the thick of it of like, how do we actually do any of this? So tell me a bit more about give me an example of what a core value is. I think some people are actually massively confused because they see the enterprise, Nike and these big brands what's your mentality? How would you describe what a core value is? Give us an example.
Sure. So two things you have to keep in mind when you're writing your core values is you want to make sure they are authentic to you, to the company, to the leadership, right? So don't just put something that you actually don't agree with. That's an easy one. And then The other thing is actionable. A lot of there's a common mistake of just like putting a word like honesty is actually an example, right? So honesty is our value, but it's like what about it? Like at Cultivate, it's tactful honesty, right? That's one of our core values is tactful honesty. At my company, at Privy Label, inherent joy was a value of ours because I wanted, and then I always tell people it can't just be one word. You have to have a whole explanation of what this word means, how it can be implemented for the person. And for me, it was inherent joy. I want us to always find the inherent joy. I don't want us to get stressed out. Like we are manufacturing clothing for fashion brands. This is fun. This should be fun. And if we're getting so stressed out about the buttons not arriving on time that we can't sleep at night, like then we are misaligned with the core values of this company. Like this is not a hospital, luckily.
I think that's so great though, right? So it can be as simple as like come up with 4 to 8, 1 to 2 word action-based kind of ingredients of what you want to stir up the culture of your company, with maybe a short sentence that like, what does it mean to us to implement that on a daily or, every moment of the business as we operate. And I think when you start to look at it as like, this is almost like the most important thing you share with new employees. Like, what does it mean to work here? Let me explain our core values and like what we make decisions through, or, how do you use these values with the customer? It's like, hey, I want to make sure you're aware of these core values. This is how we operate. If this doesn't align with you, it's good to know right now.
Yeah. I mean, and sometimes you don't have to, I mean, in a customer situation, you don't have to blatantly say what they are, right? Or even in an employee hiring situation, you are asking questions and figuring out ways to discern if they are aligned by it, rather than being like, are you tactfully honest? Because like everyone's going to say, yes, I'm tactfully honest.
Right. Well, and I also think what's so interesting about core values is I think that a lot of people who are new to them, they all come up with the same thing. So I'll just share how Cultivate came up with, our 8 core values and our drivers that we run. Like the way we got there was we actually hired somebody to come in and interview like 30% of our staff. And all they did was ask us about our backgrounds and like what was important to us in life and what was important to us about the desires we had in business. And from that, the most common attributes of our team.
That's awesome.
And then we just kept recruiting more and more people that were very similar to us. And, that's how we became the cult of 8 it was always the joke, right? We're going to create a cult of 8 of these 8 core values. And that was like the funny joke when we first came out with them.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
That's a beautiful way to do it. I mean, honestly, like, and if you could, maybe not as a leader, but have someone on your team go do that with your employees, I think that's a great method to go figure out.
Even like, why are these 5 my top performers and these 3 are my low performers? Like, we'll go interview the top 5 performers and find out what the common shared values and attributes are.
Thanks for tuning in to Catapult Your Business, where Cultivate Advisors is helping you catapult your business one question at a time. Are you running your business, or is your business running you? At Cultivate Advisors, they'll match you with an expert advisor and do a free 2-hour deep dive for your business. This will give you the clarity you need on how to get your business to the next level. Cultivate has worked with thousands of businesses. What do you have to lose? So head over to cultivateadvisors.com and sign up for your free 2-hour session.
And that's an important, I do want to bring this up. I think this is an important piece of core values and like because you can have core values written on walls and on your screensavers and like but people don't adopt them, right? And one of the big reasons I think people don't adopt core values and actually start living them in an organization is because they don't trust that the leadership of the organization is committed to those core values. And I'll give you an example because you brought up the high performers, right? There are a lot of times, and I see this in some of my clients' businesses, where one of the highest performers is not aligned with the core values. And it is very difficult for a leader to say, you know what, we need to part ways with this person because they are positively affecting our bottom line, but they're negatively affecting the culture. And that is one of the most difficult decisions for a leader to have to make, truly. So it's so important because if they make the right decision there, and of course, like you have to be at the right moment in your business to be able to say goodbye to certain bottom line profits, and take that risk. But the upside is huge for so many reasons.
The best way to connect what you're saying is, how many times have you seen somebody choose a value driver or pillar as profit?
Oh yeah, too many. Oh my gosh, worst values. Yeah, no,
Yeah. Like that's not an action. That's not what everybody can operate on.
no.
It's attribute. I always think of values as like it's an attribute that you want to live. Like
Yep.
you want to live and breathe that attribute. And you want to behave through that lens
That's beautiful.
consistently, right? Like it's
That's a good
and
way to
that's
put it.
when you said action, that's what I thought. It was like it's the attribute you want to live.
Yeah, live and breathe. You can't live and breathe profit. Like, no, how do you do that?
No.
You can't do that.
No, profit's important to a business. We're not saying it's not. Revenue's important to a business. Growth, all the fun words are great. But at the end of the day, like this is the human side where you get to show like this is what we're gonna prioritize.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. Any other thoughts on how to use these, right? I think some people get stuck of like, okay, cool, I'll go interview my team. I'll go put together these core values. If it's everybody's like, what's the number? Don't worry, just make it enough. Make it, don't go to double digits and make it more than 3. Right? Like land somewhere that fits your company. Don't overthink it. But once you have them, then what? Like where should you put them? How do you like? I always hear you talking about like how to make them stick. Like how do you actually get them to stick? Like, do you have any tactics you've seen your clients use or you've been able to use that's allowed it to be front of mind for people? Because it's like, how do you keep them relevant?
It kind of depends on the stage of the company, right? So it's like if you're a startup company and this is, you have your core values from the beginning, it's a little bit easier, right? But if you're introducing core values after you haven't had them, or maybe you've had them, but they've just been on sleeper for a while, right?
Yeah.
It's more difficult. And so I think some of the tactics, some of the things I've seen done are like role playing, right? So like you can roll. This was an example from a client. So they had 2 different situations, and I'm sorry, same situation, 2 different groups of people. One group of people had to come up with the solution to the problem with the core values in mind, and the other group were just like, come up with the best solution. Like, we don't care about the core values, just like come up with the best solution.
Right.
The ones that use the core values, their separate groups all came up with like very similar solutions, and then the other ones were all these different solutions. They all got to the same endpoint, but it was chaotic. Right. And when you have a large organization with different departments and different leaders within departments, like you need people to try and come up with similar solutions.
So you almost just described like a great team building exercise to like throw into your next like monthly huddle or your all team hangout, whatever companies bring their people together. You almost just kind of described a great 90-minute session where you show them like, see, this is why we use our core values when we make decisions. It can make us move faster.
Yep, exactly. And then having that social proof, like other people are using them, is important. So like highlighting, we do that a little bit at Cultivate in some of our huddles. We'll say, somebody just like popcorn, like take a core value, give me an example of how that played out in your week. Yeah. And it's helpful to see like, oh, wow, that really is aligning with my colleagues. Like they're using that.
You can put awards around core values of like the people that are living the awards or living the values, sorry, like the person who lives them the most. You can, obviously Cultivate, when we get on our huddles, whoever was kind of the chosen person from the COO that just said like, I think they're just doing a killer job. I've heard a lot of great thoughts about them. It's like, it's a reward to get to share the values, make it a win and a positive, not like this dreaded thing.
Yes.
But I do think restating them, making sure they're written down, making sure they're located in multiple places. These are all things, it's like a campaign. You have to almost like campaign.
Yeah,
and even when your leader comes to you, I always think about this one, right? I deal with this a lot. A leader comes to me and is like, here's like 5 different solutions of how to solve this problem. It's like, which one hits the core values the most? All right, well then do that way. It may not be the most profitable way, but that's how we're going to run the business. And that's what we've all decided.
Yeah, exactly.
So, as the owner, I hope everybody just heard that, right? It's like, you also have to live these values and you have to remind them like, well, if you put the core values to the test, what would be the decision?
Yeah. Yeah. This will make you laugh. I was listening to a TED talk about core values a while ago, and the owner of the company was saying, I got all my leaders together and I said, why don't the employees know? We use these core values all the time. Why don't the employees know about the core values? He said, whose job is it to make sure that these core values are implemented across the organization? Because I had an out-of-body experience when I realized it was my job.
Yeah. Exactly. That's right. It's a
True.
campaign.
Yeah. It's your, I mean, there is one person whose true job it is, and it's the leader. You're at the top. It's a top down, it's a
Yeah,
top.
absolutely. Absolutely. If you're not living the values, it's the whole problem. I love it. I mean, Jessica, I know a lot of people are jumping in, just like, are they a total waste of time? I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're not. But at the end of the day, core values has stood the test of time. That when you
Mhm.
bring a company together, you let them make decisions through it. You use it to describe the attributes. Or I love the word ingredients of the culture. I love that like kind of language we fell on today. I think this is worth investing in. And I don't think you have to spend a lot of time. Again, the simple exercise of just that would be my biggest takeaway is like just a reminder of like just go interview, go talk to 5 or 6 top performers or leaders and figure out what the most common attributes are that are all aligned. And I love your exercise of the X and Y axis. I know that's out of EOS, but just such a great simple tool. Any other final things you'd love to share with kind of the entrepreneurial community today around core values?
Yes. So the final thing I want to share is that don't wait until you're in pain to do this, because that's what happens is that you wait until you have a bad egg in your company that is
Give a
spreading
mutiny or
negativity.
yeah.
Yeah, they're spreading negativity. And when they're in negativity and bad attitudes, they spread like a virus in a company. And if you don't have strong ingrained core values, your employees will latch up, they'll be infected by the virus. They'll be like, oh yeah, so and so, he's so annoying. Like it causes so much pain for the owner.
Yeah.
Just get ahead of it. We're here to tell you, just get ahead of it. Figure it out in advance.
And just because you have core values doesn't mean it's going to go perfect, but it sure is nice to be able to come back and go like, well, we may not like this decision, but let's look, does it hit all of these values or does it break a value?
Yep. Yeah.
What a great tool to be able to like have more steady conflict because you proactively put these in place if something were to happen to you or come up that, kind of infringed on your human capital abilities.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. I love it. Jessica, a wealth of knowledge, no surprise. Thank you for bringing your expertise. I know I speak on behalf of all the entrepreneurs kind of listening in. I'm sure they're taking down some notes and they're going to go get some core values. So for all of our entrepreneurs listening in, thank you for continuing to join us to catapult your business. And we hope to see you on the next podcast episode where we'll bring another topic and help scale that business one question at a time. But until then, keep living your dream. Bye, everybody.